Kirby Air Riders has been an absolutely delightful experience all around. From the simple controls that make the game easy to pick up, to the amount of variety in machines and riders that make each combination feel unique, the chaotic and rewarding online multiplayer experience, and a single-player campaign mode that really surprised me with how fun and replayable it all is. But out of everything, I think the thing that makes Kirby Air Riders feel so special to me is how it taps into the simple act of being a fun video game, first and foremost. This game has that big Game Boy game energy and feels retro in all of the best ways. I talk about Game Boy games a lot on this channel, and that's because in my life as a gamer, they still hold a special place because these games were built from the ground up to accommodate quick play sessions and get players into the fun immediately and provide you with a quick experience that's both fun and fulfilling. I can always squeeze in some time to do some races on Wave Race, or chase a new high score in Tetris, or pummel the Foot Clan in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I feel the same way about the quick and punchy experience that Kirby Air Riders delivers. So how does Kirby Air Riders, a game from 2025, embody that same energy as these classic portable experiences from the 80s and 90s? Well, I think it wears it on its sleeve. When you first boot this game up, you're presented with its 3 game modes: Air Ride, Top Ride, and City Trial. There's no fluff, no key modes locked behind story progression. In just a few button presses, you can jump into a race or a city trial competition locally or online. This game also embodies those portable classics by having a simple control scheme centered around just 2 buttons. Your character moves automatically, so you don't even need to accelerate. All you have to worry about is steering with the left stick and using the buttons to brake, grab copy abilities, and attack NPCs when they're close. That unrelenting focus on simplicity harkens back to the simple control schemes employed by Game Boy games of the past. Now, obviously, those developers didn't have a choice since the Game Boy only had 2 buttons. But here, Kirby Air Riders leans into that simplicity, not out of necessity, but because it's just good game design. The developers provide an experience where controls don't get in the way of the fun, an experience that's easy enough to pick up and has enough depth and skill ceiling to allow for so much variability into play. This is the Game Boy ethos. This is what makes Game Boy games so fun. Hand anyone a Game Boy with Super Mario Land and you almost don't even have to say anything. With a few fumbling button presses, they'll be on their way, dodging enemies and timing jumps. The same is true here for Kirby Air Riders. That simplicity helps you focus on the game's systems and nuances in a way that feels refreshing in today's current gaming landscape, where even longtime players may have to spend a few minutes staring at the controller layout in most games just to get a feel of what they're supposed to be doing. So currently I'm about 15 hours or so into this experience, and I've loved every minute of this, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Nintendo really has delivered a fun racing and vehicle combat experience that has really resonated with me, and I knew it would. While I didn't play the original Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube, I did watch those developer live streams where Masahiro Sakurai was able to nerd out about this game for 2 hours in the pre-release live streams. And just as an aside here, Nintendo, please do more of that. I think as fans, it's really nice to hear from the people who created these games and talk about how fun they are and introduce them to the world themselves. I know everyone may not be as charismatic as Sakurai, but I think it is a great format for introducing your games to the world. If I had to point to one thing about this experience that has surprised me the most so far, I would say it's the main single-player mode, Road Trip. In this mode, you pick a character and you start with a bare-bone machine with no stats. And throughout the mode, you complete these little challenges to progress your machine and build it up however you want. What I think surprised me the most about playing this is just the pace at which the challenges come at you. They come fast and they're over within 1 minute. It really gives the whole thing this WarioWare feel, and it's really addictive. There are different branching paths that you can take throughout the mode, so this thing feels infinitely replayable, trying different machines and rider combinations and exploring all the different branching paths they have to offer. Also, after you finish this mode once, you get access to a higher difficulty called Super Hard, which prevents you from saving in the middle of a stage and uses each of the boss fights as checkpoints. So if you fail in a challenge in the middle of a stage, you have to start all over again. This gives enough of a challenge to give a bit more weight to your choices and your performance in the various challenges. I think this will be the preferred way to play this mode for more core gamers and folks who are looking for more of a challenge. Overall, I'm having so much fun with this game, and I think it has a bright future ahead of it. This is an amazing product as is, and while Nintendo has confirmed that there's no plans for DLC for this game, based on what exists on the cartridge today, this is the flagship multiplayer experience for the Switch 2 currently. I wanted to keep this video relatively short, just my first impressions on the game, but there's so much more to talk about here. All of the customization options you have for designing your machines and your license, the amount of unlockables that are available, the depth of the city trial mode. There's just so much here, and it has me excited to sink more hours into this game. I hope in the future we see more developers lean into this bare bones, simple, fun first approach for games. Nintendo has always been pretty great with this, and indie developers are doing a lot of this as well. I want it to continue. I really want 2026 to be the year of more games with that big Game Boy game energy, the games that strip gaming down to the simplest elements and let the fun factor fill in the rest. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My channel just recently crossed 100 subscribers, which for little old YouTuber in the corner of the internet like me, that's a pretty big deal. I'm thankful for everyone who's decided to join me on this journey so far. And if you like this kind of chill, positive gaming commentary, I plan to keep this going and hope you'll join me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.